Hey guys, I just want to make a quick video detailing the components of my KLR650 Tool Kit, and I ride a 2015 model, obviously Gen 2, and based on some threads that I've read on Adventure Rider and some other forums, this is kind of what I put together last year, and I've added a couple things to it since. I do ride dual sport off-road. I just came back from Colorado in July. Spent about 9 days up there riding a lot of the off-road passes and areas that are popular to ride. And I'm getting ready to leave tomorrow for a trip to southern Appalachia, to the Tennessee, North Carolina, Southern Virginia, that region there. And so I may actually make it over to West Virginia as well. Maybe even Kentucky. Haven't decided yet. We'll see how it goes. I think I have 9 days for that trip as well. Anyway, this is what I have in my KLR toolkit, and by all means give me some suggestions on something I should add or even maybe take away. But this is what I've determined through my research as well as experience working on the bike, trail side, to be necessary to have. So we'll start over here. This is it's a very short bungee cord, doesn't have a whole lot of reach. I use that to secure the master cylinder, front or rear, when I'm changing a tire. I just stick it through one of the holes where the tire came out of, and not the tire. Anyway, I use this to secure the front and rear master cylinder. So it works very well, just kind of keeping it up there out of the way, and it weighs hardly anything. And I've used it to secure items along the way, so I view it as something good to have. Here, of course, I have my air pressure gauge. I like this one. I just like the fact that I can, there you go, that it's got some reach to it. I don't think, like, try and get my hands up into the spokes past the sprocket or the rear brake disc. I can just reach in with the extended hose. Anyway, I have a bicycle tire pump. This is made by Toe Peak, and it's called the Bikini model. It works well. I think it's a good one. I think it's like $20, and it does the job. I have a slime pump, but honestly, this works pretty well, and I just don't see the value of carrying the slime pump on the bike with me at this time. If I was on a longer trip, maybe I would. Here I have a Motion Pro Bead Buddy. This helps with taking the tire off, putting it back on, just kind of holding the bead in place on one side as you work the tire spoons around the other. And these are a pair of Motion Pro tire spoons. I forgot the length, but I can put a link down below. But they work pretty well. I mean, longer ones would be better, but these work just well. They're just fine. Got some zip ties. These are mil-spec zip ties. Got them at the hardware store. I mean, I guess because they're mil-spec, maybe they have a higher tensile strength. They work well. When I first got the bike, I took a trip to the Texas Hill Country, and I lost one of my lower subframe bolts on the bike, and I used 2 of these zip ties to secure that part of the frame, and it held up for probably about 100 miles until I got back into town, and part of that was off-road. I was careful, obviously, but it held up having 2 of those, one at the top, one at the bottom. Kept things in place until I was able to get into town and get a replacement bolt. I've since upgraded those bolts with the Eagle Mike's subframe bolt kit, the upper and lower, but anyway, before that, these came in handy. Got spare levers. Got clutch lever, brake lever, and I do have Barkbuster Storm handguards on my bike, but I do carry these just in case. And then down here, well, this is a Tusk. I think they call it the Racer tire wrench, but it has the 19 millimeter and 27 millimeter nut sizes, which is appropriate for the KLR650 front and rear tire. I then have a Tusk T-handle wrench, and it comes with the T-handle and 5 accessory pieces. So you got these 3 sockets here, this one here, and then you've got the Phillips head screwdriver. And the socket sizes are going to be, let's see, it looks like this one is a, okay, well this one down here is an 8 millimeter. Okay, well, it's not focusing, but that's what it is. This one here is a 10 millimeter, and then this one is a 12 millimeter. This one here, that one is a 13 millimeter. And then of course the flathead. And then I've got assorted Allen keys here for parts of my motorcycle that those work for. And then I've got the one that came from the factory. That was in the factory toolkit, and that's this one here. So this is a 17 millimeter deep socket. I use that to take out the drain plug for the oil. I don't usually carry that with me because I typically don't change my oil mid-trip. I do that before the trip, but it was in my toolkit for some reason. I must have put it there, but so there it is. This is a snap-on socket wrench, and this is the half-inch size, which works for these sockets here, this socket, and you know, anything else I need to use, it's half-inch. Then I have this other socket wrench here, and this is a rotating head or swivel head snap-on that I like to use as well. And so it comes in pretty handy for areas that are a little difficult to get to, and it's extremely lightweight. And this one is quite a bit heavier. And I can also use this one with these 1/4 inch sockets. Oh, this here is, I have a Lex exhaust on my KLR. This is a spare spring for the exhaust because I've broken them before, so I ordered a replacement pack, and it came with 2. Needle nose pliers, little 8 millimeter wrench here. I use that primarily for my my shifting lever, which is a longer one made by Tusk. Pair of pliers, pair of vice grips. I've got this Tusk screwdriver set here, and it has 2 flat heads and 2 Phillips heads in different sizes each. And I have a little piece of tubing over it, just so it won't puncture anything inside of the toolkit. Sometimes I'll put spare tubes inside there, so I found that piece of tubing to place over it. This here is a chain press tool, as well as some spare master links. I've got inside there a spare spark plug, some electrical tape, some duct tape, just a small roll that I got at REI, and then I've got some nitro tape, which is good for like hoses on your bike. And it has excellent reviews from people that have used it in the field. Got some thread locker inside this bag here, as well as some JB Weld steel stick in case, you know, I were to puncture a case or something like that. These 90-degree pliers are for the carburetor. If for some reason I had to do field maintenance to the carburetor, I'd be able to get the choke cable or the enricher cable, be able to remove it from the carburetor. So I do carry that, even though I really don't want to do carburetor field maintenance, but I will if I need to. I put a jet kit on it, so I am familiar with how to take it off, how to put it back on, as well as how to take it apart. And I upgraded the bolts in that with the Eagle Mike's carburetor screws, as well as the KLX kit. This here is a Enduro Star. That's it, Enduro Star trail jack. I had a sitter stand on the bike, but I've had some problems with it. It was a good model, you know, very reputable model, but I took it off. So now I've got this this Enduro Star trail jack, and basically you unwrap the Velcro, put the Y shape here, screw it into the top, and then you can use that to secure either the front of the bike or the back of the bike in conjunction with the kickstand. And then this Velcro piece you wrap around the throttle and the brake lever. That way your bike, it helps keep your bike in place, and just to secure it in place. So you just wrap the Velcro around the throttle and the throttle tube and the brake lever. Okay, and here's my Tusk off-road tire repair kit. There's some patches in there. There's some plugs, plug tool, and as well as some CO2 bottles, as well as the CO2 delivery head. And let's I've got some baby powder here for tire changing. I'm not going to take that whole thing. This is a small one I got at Walmart, but I'm going to put it in a smaller container. I just got it, so I haven't switched it over yet. And then this is the spark plug wrench that came with the motorcycle as part of the factory toolkit, and I keep that on there as well in case I need to do a spark plug removal. And I think that pretty much covers it for these tools. I do carry some spare nuts and bolts along the way that I've identified as being important to have for the motorcycle. Everything fits. Let's see, I got here's some gloves that I use trail side, and some what do you call them? Not latex, but not nylon, whatever. Some plastic gloves that I use. And then that's the factory KLR tool bag. I fit a lot of stuff inside here because I can then put the weight of it back into the factory tool compartment. And then I have this old Moose Racing bag that I put everything else into, and I can put that in one of my side bags or in the top box, or just I can even put it in my tank bag if I need to. Had this thing for many years. I got it with an old KTM that I had, and it stayed with me through many motorcycles. In here, in my top box, this is just a Pelican case, but there we go. What am I looking for here? I have a lightning pack, and this will help charge your motorcycle or even jumpstart your motorcycle. It'll jumpstart a car or a truck if you need to. I have a solar pack for charging phones and other devices. This lightning pack, let me get it out for you. It'll also charge your phone or your GPS in addition to jump starting your motorcycle or vehicle. I've had this for about a year. I got it in a motorcycle shop. One day I came across it, and it's been good. It's got a little light on it as well as a USB not plug, but just a USB area where you can plug in different USB cords to charge whatever device you have. And then of course this here is for the jumper cables. So that's something I thought I'd point out, that I keep that in the top box because it's relatively waterproof. I also, on the trail, I'll also carry a headlight with me. I just got this little headlight case for some reason. I was at REI and they were having a big sale on Petzl, so I picked up the case and I like it. So the headlight's in there, headlamp. And it's a Petzl model. Anything else in here? No. Okay. Keep some extra batteries in here for my different devices. So that's pretty much it for the tools. So yeah, if you guys have anything you'd like to offer, as far as maybe what I should add, or as far as removing, I guess you can make a case, but I'm pretty comfortable with what I have here, and that's really what it comes down with the tools. It's what makes you comfortable.